All right, thank you very much, Annette. Just so you know, this is kind of what happens in the book, right? There's a guy up there, just in this case, a billionaire entrepreneur. I'm not a billionaire entrepreneur. I guess some might consider me an entrepreneur. I don't know. But
Not yet.
maybe not yet. We'll see into the future. Some predictions here. But this is what happens in the book, right? All the mixture comes up. He says, "This person is reading. This is their background." And by the way, in the book, he picks people based on a different storytelling ability. So he has the spoken word poet, who's a young student. He has an Uber driver. They're the biggest BS artists ever. They're always talking with their customers. We have someone who runs a hair salon. Again, big time talkers. So everyone has a different skill in terms of the way that they can tell a story. Anyway, that's part of it. In any case, so our next storyteller isn't even in the room, so maybe I'll go to a different person. So our next storyteller is a urban romance writer, I suppose, the best way to term it. But I guess he'll define himself. You don't want to go yet? Okay. Well, okay. Maybe we'll have BJ come up. No?
No, I want you to leave.
Come on, guys.
Who wants to go? Bill, do you want to read?
Sure.
All right. He was the one I was going to go to, but I didn't see him in the room.
Yeah.
All right. So our next author is the winner of a pretty prestigious competition, the Williams Welfare competition. I think he's an honorable mention, and he was another one as well. James Jones or
James Jones.
James Jones. Yeah, right. So yeah, they're very prestigious competitions. So anyway, he's the author of two books actually. Attention All Passengers, which is about the airline industry, which is his, on the nonfiction side, his main expertise, and also Half the Child. So give it up for Bill McGee.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to meet you people. I'm not going to read from either book, if that's okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was just an intro for how great you are.
Okay, no, I appreciate it. So this is very timely. This is in January something happened that probably everybody in the room is familiar with around the time a new president was inaugurated. And I sat down and wrote an op-ed, and I have a friend at work that sent it to the New York Times. I called in a marker. He didn't want to do it, but he knew somebody at the New York Times. He said, okay, I'll do it. They turned it down, and then I put it aside. So it's 2 months old now, and now I'm thinking about, since this is based on something that happened 2 months ago, but it's still very relevant, I'm going to have to tweak it and make it a little bit more timely, because I've just been too busy for the last 2 months with work to deal with it. But if it does get published, it will include an illustration. And that's the illustration at the very top. I think you can all see it, the red and yellow. And I think I'd be shocked if anybody in the room had never seen that symbol before. Okay? So this is called All Symbols Matter, especially when they're offensive. Symbols matter. That first symbol above, referring to the illustration, it was once worn by soldiers, only not the ones you think. It was a patch worn by American soldiers. In recent years, debates have swirled over Confederate flags and swastika flags. Both were carried into battle against the United States Army, and in both cases, they were defeated by that same army. Symbols certainly do matter, particularly to those for whom the first is a cogent reminder of slavery and treason, and the second, a reminder of senseless conquest and mass exterminations. This year, the quarrel du jour is whether a Nazi salute was given not once, but twice, by the richest man in the world at Donald Trump's inaugural festivities. This debate underscores the resonance of symbols, both good and bad. The internet is still raging over the onstage gesture that Elon Musk doubled down on in January. Manufactured excuses flooded social media since then, especially on his own site, X. It was pure exuberance. No, it was an accident. No, it was due to autism. No, it was a Roman salute. Elise Stefanik, at her nomination hearing to be the ambassador of the United Nations, told Congress that Musk, quote, loves to cheer. Major media outlets equivocated, as if it was 1933. And the Anti-Defamation League defamed itself by calling it a, quote, awkward gesture of enthusiasm. Musk himself labeled any and all criticism as, quote, dirty tricks. But guess who wasn't confused by Musk's gesture? Yep, there was ample evidence on social media that extremist hate groups both noticed and approved. Of course, symbols can take many forms, but even AI or a photocopy can't erase the grainy pixels that comprise them. We always recognize a Christian cross, a Jewish Star of David, an Islamic crescent and star, a Buddhist Dharma wheel, a Baha'i nine-pointed star, or a peace sign, a heart, a middle finger. They may have origins that differed in meaning as they evolved or devolved over time, but eventually they morph into that which cannot be denied in the here and now, for better or worse. Symbols can also be verbal, as with an anthem or a motto or an oath, from Semper Fidelis to In God We Trust to Heil Hitler. They can be physical, as with a flag or a uniform or a statue, or they can be gestures, as with the sign of a cross or davening in shul or a military salute, which has varied over time in the United States. Or with that Nazi salute, which currently is illegal in Germany. It's worth noting that during World War II, my father served in the United States Army with the 45th Infantry Division, known as the Thunderbirds. The 45th was mobilized from the Oklahoma National Guard, and their patch was the swastika, a Native American symbol that paid homage to that former territory's strong Native American traditions. By 1939, World War II was underway in Europe, and the 45th abandoned the swastika, and developed a new patch depicting the mythical Thunderbird, another Native American symbol. Clearly, the War Department at the time recognized that the swastika, not for better or worse, but for worse, had been co-opted and would forever be more synonymous with hatred, evil, and intolerance. And no doubt the U.S. Army did not relish having American troops wearing swastikas if and when they engaged in battle with actual Nazis. And so the 45th Division rightfully abandoned the swastika. My father took part in 4 invasions: North Africa, Sicily, Salerno, and Anzio, and multiple bloody campaigns against German troops for nearly 2 years before ultimately being wounded at Anzio, all while wearing a new patch. But then even hurricane names are retired when the devastation is severe enough. The 45th Infantry Division spent 511 days in combat in World War II, earning praise from General George S. Patton, one of the best, if not the best, divisions in the history of American arms. Even President Roosevelt cited the entire division for gallantry. My father and tens of thousands of other soldiers in the 45th wore Thunderbird patches as they went into combat 80 years ago against real live Nazis. Not neo-Nazis, not surf Nazis, nor grammar Nazis, nor even soup Nazis. Americans came under relentless fire and thousands were killed by actual Nazis. That is not a compound phrase. The kind that wore Nazi swastikas and gave Nazi salutes. Because we all know what a swastika symbolizes now, just as we all know what a Nazi salute is now. Even when we're loudly told not to believe our own eyes. We're not nation Rome. Instead, still among us are a handful of living American World War II veterans who fought and defeated Nazism in our time. Imagine how they perceived Elon Musk's enthusiasm in January. In 1968, Congress passed a federal flag desecration law, making it a crime to mutilate, deface, defile, or burn the flag of the United States. Even those of us opposed to such a law don't argue over what a red, white, and blue piece of cloth symbolizes. Everyone knows what it symbolizes. Just as everyone knows what a swastika spray painted on the door of a Jewish synagogue symbolizes. Symbols remain symbols, whether brand new or old and tattered. So let's be clear and dismiss the bullshit. Elon Musk knew exactly what he was doing, and his message was both sent and received. And furthermore, let's also be clear that in 2025, no one can claim they made that gesture, but for a different reason. There is no other reason. No. Like the swastika, there's only one meaning for the Heil sign now. Yes, symbols matter. Symbols matter. And the emotions that symbols of hate and division invoke matter as well. To pretend otherwise is ridiculously naive, or intentionally deceptive, or just plain evil. As Tejas says in Fiddler on the Roof, on the other hand, there is no other hand. It's been 80 years since the Third Reich was brought to its knees, and the expiration date on swastikas and Heil Hitler salutes is long overdue. Let's not pretend that today they stand for anything other than hatred. Thank you.
Yes.